Hello everyone and welcome to a new lesson with Miss Rafa. Today we're going to start with the grammatical skill. So if you're ready, let's get started. Grammar. The causative. Have something done. What's the difference in meaning between these sentences? My father mended the car himself. My father is the doer of the action. The sentence tells us what the subject did. أبي أصلح السيارة بنفسه. إذن الشخص الذي صلح السيارة هو أبي، هو نفسه الفاعل. The car was mended by my father. هون عنا جملة ماضي بسيط مبني للمجهول، عنا الدلالة by. My father is the doer of the action. أبي هو الشخص اللي قام بالفعل. The sentence tells us what happened to the subject. التركيز بهي الجملة بيكون على الحدث، وهو إنه السيارة تصلحت من قبل مين؟ من قبل أبي. My father had the car mended. انتبهوا للجملة هون أبي لم يصلح السيارة، وإنما حدا تاني صلح السيارة لأبي. My father asked someone else to mend the car. He's not the doer of the action. أبي هو ليس الشخص الذي قام بالفعل، وإنما هو طلب من شخص آخر يقوم بالفعل عنه. إذن أبي is not the doer، هو من الفاعل. My father didn't have the car mended. My father didn't ask anyone to mend the car for him. أبي ما طلب من أي حدا يصلح السيارة. لاحظوا أنه الفرق بالجمل هو لما بيكون الفاعل هو الشخص اللي قام بالفعل، أو لما بيكون الفاعل هو الشخص الذي طلب من شخص آخر أن يقوم له بالفعل. Look at these signs from some shops. Then write what people think when they see the signs, using the words in brackets and have or had. We repair all kinds of boots and shoes. بجملة الكوزاتيف that reminds me حط أول شي الفاعل، بعدين الفعل المساعد زائد have، بعد المفعول به، وآخر شي الفعل بالتصريف التالي. I must have my shoes repaired. إذن لازم حط المفعول به قبل الفعل الأساسي. Let us clean your carpets and curtains. My mother goes to that shop. She has the carpets cleaned there. She has the carpets cleaned there. We make keys of all types. I had almost forgotten. I ought to have a new key made for the house. Or we can say, I ought to have a new key for the house made. We mend watches and clocks. That shop isn't expensive. I had my watch mended there last week. Our specialty, painting houses and flats. I don't think I can afford to have our flat painted. إذا دايما بحط المفعول به بين الفعل المساعد والفعل الأساسي. Question C. Some unpleasant things happened to these people last week. Use the sentences in brackets to write a sentence with had something done. Huda's bag was pulled off her shoulder. Huda had her bag pulled off her shoulder. Ali's driving license was taken away by the police. Ali had his driving license taken away. Muna's glasses were broken. Muna had her glasses broken. Muna has to have her glasses mended. Our electricity was cut off because we had forgotten to pay the bill. We had our electricity cut off because we had forgotten to pay the bill. John's clothes were torn in a fight. John had his clothes torn in a fight. Now question D. Discuss these questions with a partner and then write sentences. What can you have done if you go to a barber? I can have my hair cut. What can you have done if you go to a mechanic? I can have my car repaired, or we can say mended. What can you have done if you go to a carpenter? I can have a door made. What can you have done if you go to a tailor? I can have a suit designed. Now let's move on to the activity book. Causative verbs. Causative هو لما أنا ما بقوم بالفعل بنفسي وإنما بخلي حدا تاني يقوم بالفعل من أجلي. Let's start with the form. شكل الفعل بالجملة بيكون عنا have أو get زائد المفعول به زائد الفعل بالتصريف الثالث. هذا شكل الفعل بالجملة. have or get plus the object plus the past participle. Have something done and get something done are both used to refer to actions which are done for the subject rather than by the subject. It means that the subject caused the action to happen but didn't do it themselves. Maybe they paid or asked or persuaded the other person to do it. For example, I don't know how to repair cars, so I'm having mine repaired at the garage. Causative verbs are used instead of passive verbs to show that the subject causes the action to be done. For example, my car is being repaired at the garage now. We use have something done to talk about something that happens to someone, usually something unpleasant and outside control. For example, I stood so close to the fire that I got my legs burnt. إذن الcausative verbs هي الأفعال السببية لما بيكون الفاعل هو السبب لقيام الفعل من قبل شخص آخر، لما أنا بخلي شخص تاني يقوم بالفعل من أجلي. Make sentences with the form of have something done for these situations. Use the correct tense. For example, Tarek's windows were dirty, but he didn't have time to clean them himself. Last Sunday, Tarek had his windows cleaned. At the butcher's, Ahmed said, "Please cut the meat into small pieces." Ahmed wanted to have the meat cut into pieces. We can say wanted to get or wanted to have. Both are correct. The hairdresser cuts Rana's hair about twice a year. Rana has her hair cut about twice a year. Or we can say Rana gets her hair cut about twice a year. Yesterday, the optician checked my mother's eyes. Yesterday, my mother had her eyes checked. Mrs. Hakim's doctor says to her, "When you come to see me next week, I'll check your heartbeat." When Mrs. Hakim goes to see the doctor next week, she will have her heartbeat checked. A carpenter is going to mend the front door of our house. We are going to have the front door of our house mended. Or we can say, we're going to have the front door of our house mended. I repainted the house myself last month. I didn't have the house painted. After being late for work every day for 2 weeks, Tom's boss reduced his pay. Tom had his pay reduced. That's everything for today. Thank you very much. See you next lesson.